Because of course, for you to travel, you just don't wake up one day and say, leo naenda Canada. No, there are processes to follow, there are steps you have to take, and we take you through the whole process, from the visa facilitations to helping you book your tickets, to making you comfortable in the country, and placement of the job. Okay, my name is Brenda Gatonye. I'm the HR here at Worthstart Africa, and we are a travel agency or travel company that helps people travel abroad. This is just a branch. We are in South Africa. Yes, we are also in Brazil, in Nairobi, and now in Nakuru.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So obviously, every Kenyan who is interested to travel abroad is going to look for greener pastures. Yes. It's not that there are no greener pastures in Kenya, but they are greener out there. So of course the pay is very good, and there are many opportunities on that side. And with that, you don't need to know any inside person to get a job. You don't know how our country is right now. You have to know a person who can help you get this job. But now these greener pastures out there, they're for everyone. Anyone who's interested, as long as you're qualified for that job, you can get that job. Exactly.
Yeah.
So most people just want to go to look for the greener pastures, and the greener pastures are there. Okay, so for us, we help people travel in the Ziza Wazungu, the European countries. We don't deal with Arab countries, that is Qatar, Saudi, Lebanon. We don't deal with those countries because of the many reasons you've had: mistreatment, low salaries, delays in salaries. So as a company, we choose not to work with those countries. But anyone interested to travel to, say, Canada, UK, Australia, USA, we help with that. Yes, because we help with the visa facilitation. Because of course, for you to travel, you just don't wake up one day and say, leo naenda Canada. No, there are processes to follow, there are steps you have to take, and we take you through the whole process, from the visa facilitations to helping you book your tickets, to making you comfortable in the country, and placement of the job. Yes. So when it comes to jobs, we classify them into two classes. They're the skilled jobs and the semi-skilled. The skilled jobs are these jobs that require education, that is your degree or your master's. And there's this other class of the jobs that's called the semi-skilled. Doesn't require any education. That's the cleaners, security, caregivers, hospitality. Hospitality is semi-skilled. You might have that certificate, but it hasn't gotten to a point of the degree or the master's level. Yeah, so those are the jobs that we help most Kenyans get, and we call them the semi-skilled. It's very easy to get placement for those jobs. But also this person who is a doctor out there, an engineer, and they want the placement abroad, it's also available for them. And the requirements that you need are very basic. Your passport, that's of course the mother of all documents. You have to have a passport. Other things are your ID, your birth certificate, COVID certificate, your parents' IDs, your siblings, all that we call the family ties, very necessary. ID, dad, mom, brothers, sisters. If you're married, you have to bring your spouse ID. If you have kids, your children's birth certificate. Those are some of the common documents that you need to have. And the other complex documents that in case you don't have, that's where we come in. Yes, we help you. For instance, if your passport has delayed or you want to apply for a passport, you don't know where to start, we come in. Yeah, so we help with that process. And then now once you bring in the documents, we help you with the documentation process so that we can start applying to the embassy. There are countries that have interviews in the embassy, like the US. You'll need to present yourself. There are countries that don't need you to present yourself. Yeah, so we take you through the whole process. You'll just come talk to us. Most of the time, actually for us, our consultation is free. You might just come to get the information, not necessarily start the process. You'll just come and advise you on the country with the reason for travel, because not everyone wants to go to work. There are people who want to go study. There are people who have relatives out there, they just want to go to visit. There's someone out there who has some letter from a doctor that they need to go to India for further medication, you get. So we are there for such people. That's a health visa. Yeah, you might have a relative or your parents They need to go to India. Yes, wako na barua, but they don't know where to start. Now that's where we come in with the ticketing, with helping you get this health visa. Once you get there, where are you guys going to stay? You all don't go sleep in the hospital bed, of course. There are people who need accommodation. Yeah, you know, there's a lot when it comes to traveling, not just getting the flight and getting there. So we help with that whole package at their disposal for free. Consultation is free, but of course, when it comes to visa facilitations, there's a fee for the process, but it's very standard. Actually, we are one of the most affordable companies right now in Nairobi currently. So, you know, when it comes to visa processing, you can get an approval or a denial. The more documents you have or how good your documents look will increase your chances of getting this visa. Number one, in case you are a criminal or a person with a criminal record, trust me, you'll never leave Kenya. You'll need that certificate of good conduct or the police clearance, such things. If you don't present your family ties, they won't see the attachment that you have in Kenya, because most of the time they believe you won't come back once you go there. Someone like you, for instance, if you have a wife or kids, dad, mom, they believe you can't go and disappear and leave your family behind. You get? So it increases your chances of getting this visa. That's why we have to make sure we have exhausted you when it comes to all documents. And make sure umeniletea zote, you brought all your documents to me so that you can start your process. Yes, it will just increase your chances of getting this visa. Actually, when you're working with a trustworthy agent or company, the process is smooth. In as much as it's long, it will become smooth. Because this process takes between 2 to 3 months. It's not something that you wake up today and tomorrow you're flying. No, it's 2 to 3 months. But when you have someone to take you through, it makes it smooth. And that's what every Kenyan is looking for. You get, and that's why we're here. So what we do, we have our direct contacts there. For instance, we have a company in Brazil. So anything about Brazil, we know about. A country like Canada, we've partnered with some companies, even schools. For instance, the Kamosun University. We have contact with the people inside. So we are able to know all these opportunities. In case there are scholarships in the schools, we have the direct contact. Because also you've been seeing in the media, someone has gotten their visa, but once they get to the country, they're stranded, right? Most people are even sleeping on the streets. They have the visa, but they don't have the opportunity. So you have to look for a company that will help you even after getting the visa, even after landing. What are you landing to do? There's this phrase Kenyans always use, bora nitoke Kenya. No, unatoka unaenda wapi? You know, yeah, there's that, but also you have to look ahead. Unafika, like, how are you going to pay your bills? You've gone for greener pastures, not just getting to Canada. I'm in Canada. You get? Yeah, so we have to make sure you're well settled, you've gotten something to do in the country, because that's what you're going to look for. I always advise, do your research before even getting to pay that amount, because it's not a small amount to most Kenyans. So before you pay that amount, do your research also. Someone who has researched well, ni ngumu sana umdanganye, right? Yeah, so we always advise, do your research. Also, you have to know the history of the company. When you come to the office and you want to see the evidence or proof of clients that we have taken to the country, I'll show you a few. I'll show you successful visas. You get? So with that, you'll gain some trust. Also, when it comes to payment, I always advise any Kenyan or any client, don't pay to a company you haven't seen. At least visit the offices for the first time, because in Nairobi, you'll go find it's a company, the following day, unapata ni kinyozi. It happens. You have to go visit the office, see if they're registered, research about the company, go to their websites, their social media platforms, at least get to know this company well before you get to pay. Yeah, it's actually very important for any Kenyan to have a passport, because you know passports take time. But these are the common documents. Any Kenyan has an ID, birth certificate. But let me tell you, anyone who's interested to travel, you give them a week to look for these documents. Trust me, even 3 days is enough. Because it's a person who is desperate for, like, to go out of the country. So it's easy for them to get the documents. But anyone who can't access or hawajui waanze wapi, no, I help when it comes to that. Someone who has maybe young kids, they don't know where to start applying for their birth certificates, I'll come in and tell them, go to these offices, we can get your birth certificates here. But for any Kenyan, if you're out there and you want to start your process or you have a dream of traveling outside, it's very nice to start having your documents together. Most people actually watakwambia they haven't even picked their KCSE school certificate since 2019. You get this, they've studied, they passed, but they didn't go for that certificate at school. So you'll give them a deadline, of course they'll meet it, but to avoid the rush, start looking for those documents as early as now. So the first thing, most people think for you to travel outside you must have a direct contact. Ukuwe na mtu Canada. Asijui lazima ukuwe na mtu USA. You don't have to.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
You can just land there without
knowing anyone, as long as the company you're working with is providing someone to hold your hand, or the company that is helping you leave Kenya should have someone to hold your hand once you land there. So you don't have to know anyone out there. Mi siwezi enda Canada sijui mtu, nataka Australia. No, if your heart is for Canada, you just come, we're going to help you. That's the first thing most people think. The other problem is there's this thing we call the bank statement. Bank statement is a document that is required when you start in your application. And most countries require a large amount of money in your statement.
Sure.
But don't worry, you can use your relative's bank statement or a friend. Yes, so those are the main challenges. Also, when it comes to family ties, you know, there's a phrase in Kikuyu we say, "Mishi ni dogo." I don't know if you get that. You'll find someone saying, "I don't know my dad. I've never met him. Where will I get his ID?" And your birth certificate shows you have a dad and a mom. You know, there are those challenges when it comes to getting your family ties. But we will just come to our office. We are going to look at our case and say this is safe, this is okay. If you can't get, we will advise you to get other documents that can support that. So we always have a solution to any problem you get. Yeah, so those are the small challenges that you find with our clients here and there, but we always assist. So if you're out there, you've been walking around with envelopes looking for jobs, don't worry. There are jobs abroad. Also, you don't have to be an engineer or a doctor, as our parents used to tell us. There are other jobs, other courses. People say are small courses, but out there they are very marketable, very, very, very marketable. So you don't have to go to that school for that engineer. Maybe you didn't even pass so much in high school, you didn't get that A grade or a B grade, but trust me, there are other opportunities, hospitality courses, barrister courses, even drivers. Drivers in these countries are one of the most paid people, and it's just a normal driver. You get. So you don't have to do that big course that you've had people say for you to be successful. No. And if you're ready to start the process, feel free to contact us. I'll give my number. Also, you can visit our offices. Here in Nairobi, we're at Pension Towers, Loiter Street, floor M2. Yes, we're also opening a branch in Nakuru. Feel free to visit us. I'll leave my number 0702 112 802. 0702 112 802. Feel free to call me, leave a text on WhatsApp, and we're going to talk.